Hola, familia.
Hi, this is James Noble.
This is Salom Ekanube.
Yo, this is David Mashabela. You're on
Happy Days.
Happy Days.
Happy Days podcast.
It's a happy day to have a good day.
Hola, familia. Es Dayz, and this is Happy Days on Podcast intro. Today, our guest is Pule Mabe. Tata Pule, how are you feeling today?
I'm good.
Are you happy to be here?
I'm easy, not happy. I'm easy.
Oh, wow. Yeah.
There's nothing to be happy about.
There's nothing. Okay.
But I'm easy.
You're easy. That's good. Before we even get into it, can you tell us about Sheki?
She's my wife.
Yeah.
Yes.
Tell us more. Because I can see you looking good and given your age. You're 44 now, right?
No.
How old are you exactly?
I'm turning 43 tomorrow. I'm 42.
Oh. Okay, that's nice. Okay. So how is she treating you? Because I can see you look very good.
Well, she's my wife. She's the mother of my kids.
Yeah. All right. Okay, before we
are
start...
easy like that, myself and her, so...
Yeah, okay, that's beautiful. Before we even start with the interview with Utepo and Urich, I have 2 questions for you. Just icebreaker questions. Yeah. So, the first one is, if you had 25 hours a day, how would you spend your extra time?
Well, I would spend my extra time reading and exercising.
So that's all you do?
I will do that on my extra time after hustling, doing work.
Yeah.
Then the time remaining I will invest on my health.
Oh, that's good. That's beautiful. All right, and the second question is, if you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine, what would it be and why? If you could eliminate one thing from your daily routine.
Well, if I would eliminate one thing from my daily routine is focusing on frivolous stuff.
And why is that?
Because it just brings out negative energy.
That's great. Okay. Thank you so much, Pule. I guess I'm going to have to let you go now so that you can do your interview. There you have it, you guys. This is Pule Mabe and Dayz, and we'll join you guys with Urich and Utepo.
Hey bafethu ufihla amathambo lo futhi hey uyayibona le mihlolo la ePodcast lokho manje leli imelile ukuyamtshela ukuthi hayi man asamse esontweni ekela utshwala man ayena ujama baby man sobuye sengelilanga esontweni man angeke ngibiyekele manje utshwala man phela sine society nalabantu baby man hayi azi imeli izigcina semtshelana azi baby mina ngizokuyeka ne ngizogcina sengiqoma umfundisi hey ahlanyisa ukawo azithi Sunday ayifike ngeSunday sister uyageza grand uzilungisela ukuthi avele uyesontweni hayi mjojo vele makathi hayi uyesontweni umzali uzivale ngejuvethi hayi amlandela usister maka esontweni ya angena usister esontweni umzali udonsa umshudo uthi hala mangabe uzoqoma umfundisi uzobona ke namhlanje adwadla umzali wakudwadla imeli esontweni umfundisi athi bana abantate dumelang likayi bana abantate kiyomungwana ontate lina kingwana ntate ingene inkaka ngegani ithe kimangori kingwana ntate kimkobatlisa nentate so snow ayi labo mama bayithu bathi hayi yilo lapha ku pulpit umfundisi athe umfundisi athe ebanyela ba eluna naku akusingwana ntate naku ingwana James lizanele banyela ba ithi uzosindela lo ikhafula umntwana la awufihla amathambo bafethu ngizobuye nginibone next week Jojo.
It's a Happy Days on Podcast. Ntwana yangu uyaphi?
Wali wena manje.
Zanzibar. Oh, Zanzibar. Hey, abantu banemali emhlabeni. Beautiful island. Grand ntwana yami. Maye, abantu bakumangala sobuye ufaka ama-dreads. So shama dreads. Yini ama-dreads lo yenzile? Yeah, shama dreads. Should bo hama no DJ Sbu. Ngiyazi abantu aba-associate no DJ Sbu. Babuya sebeshaya ama-dreads.
Yeah. I know ziyakhala mfethu. Happy Days on Podcast.
Yeah, it's right here.
Yeah. Namhlanje we are very honored. We have an esteemed guest.
Yeah.
The one and only Pule Mabe.
Puleng Peter Mabe.
Oh, Peter.
Yeah, out yasemhlabeni yasephulu konjwa kuphi ka ubuya
Limpopo.
eLimpopo ePhalaburu.
Yes.
Yeah.
Haria DP kukai.
Palabura, it's in Mopani.
Okay.
Mopani district.
Yes.
Okay.
And then in a township called Namakhale.
Futhi ziyawa
Mara why
ngamabali
nikina
webs.
ya kuSoweto? Why?
Well, because maybe I spent almost the better part of my
Okay,
youth
yeah.
and early adult life here in Gauteng.
Okay.
Went to tertiary here, started working here, so met the love of my life here,
Yeah.
got my kids here,
Yeah.
learned how to drive here.
Okay.
Oh, situation kanjani. So but then masosikhuluma nje ngoPule Mabe like your early days eLimpopo, your upbringing, ithama lakho ioledi isigele the likes.
Well, I was raised by my grandmother. I come from a family headed mostly by women.
Okay.
I think my story resonates with the story of many other African kids born under apartheid, whom their mothers had them outside wedlock and were made to just grow up with them under those conditions.
Yeah,
Grew up in family backgrounds where kaufela nernonna,
Yeah.
if an aunt abereka
Okay.
takes care of
That's
everyone
more
else.
of a large family.
Yeah, large family, so you were just sustained by some stories of things that really never existed. Stories that when we were told, if you ask, how did kids come? Where did we come from? It's like an aeroplane.
Yeah.
So I come from that kind of a background, but it was that background actually that contributed to my own outlook, to how I came to see, understand, and interpret events in life. Yeah. So it was not a very complicated one. So that saying that it takes a village to raise a child. So we were actually raised by the village. Well, the saying of the village basically means it takes a community to raise a child. So I was raised by that.
The community, yeah. So itama basically kushuta uqala.
No, I know my father.
Oh, okay.
And I know my father. Not having stayed with my father doesn't mean I don't know him.
Oh, okay.
I know my father. I saw him. I also went on to bury him when he passed on. I buried both my parents. So, yeah. I was not even angry. I was never angry with him. Okay. So there's nothing wrong he did. It's just that
I was getting that was under badala.
No. Look, I can't be part of things that I don't know how they emerged and all of that. If that is the path that God chose for me, it's okay. Here I am. I can still construct a sentence in English.
That's true.
So that background means nothing. No.
Especially primary, high school.
No, that is. At school, I was very much involved in. So if you go back to primary, I was very much involved in the arts. Stage plays at school.
Oh, is it? Wow.
And then high school, did the same. Even directed a few. I think when I was doing matric, I directed William Shakespeare's Macbeth. So from standard 9.
Julius.
At that time, at that time, when I had grades, it was standards. So from standard 9, but over and above that, I became part of the politics much early.
Okay.
I think when I was still at primary school, I became part of the ANC Youth League Pioneer Movement. I was part of the Pioneer Desk.
Okay.
As far back as 1992, I participated in the conceptualization of the International Declaration on Children's Rights.
Okay.
It was a United Nations project. Here in South Africa, it was driven by an NGO called Molo Songololo.
Okay.
Yeah.
So we were part because we were drawn from the Youth League in that way. And then we were part of the project. Actually, what emerged out of that was the notion of the right to learn, which President Mandela pronounced on in 1993 at the Durban Conference, which effectively meant that kids had to go back to school. They did not need to now be on the front line and end up not... that's why there was that song that we can learn and shoot it, they say...
Oh, yes. I remember
So
that.
it comes
Yeah.
from that kind of an era. So I was only 12 at that time. Then I went to boarding school when I was 13 and 14. And at 14 years, I participated in the campaign for the first democratic elections.
Okay.
Putting up posters, Nelson Mandela's posters, which were written the People's Choice.
I remember those.
The Ready to Govern campaign. So we are the ones in the outskirts of Palabora who put the face of President Mandela, told people that this one is the People's
Young
Choice.
Mandela.
You know, so it's one piece of history that when one looks back, it cherishes a lot. You know, it cemented my role in the politics. But beyond that, if we just go a few steps back, I think in 1989, my grandmother was going to receive a long service award. She had worked for the Palabora Mining Company for almost 20 years, just over 20 years. So she was getting a long service award. They gave her a watch, a citizen watch, engraved with her name, S.S. Mabe. Now, my grandmother lost this watch. This watch was picked up by one elder we knew, and then one day I made the discovery of who actually got my grandmother's watch. Yes, because the watch thing meant a lot to my grandmother. It made me to ask questions.
Louis Omega.
Yeah, it was a citizen.
Oh,
Just a simple citizen watch.
Okay.
So it actually propelled me forward into the politics. That is why when I was Treasurer General of the ANC Youth League, I would have been amongst those that advocated for the nationalization of mines. It came from that history and experience, having grown up in a mining community myself. You know, so if you ask, I was never recruited into the politics. My conditions made me part of the politics. So I don't. That's why I don't owe anyone anything in the political space. I don't look at someone and say, "Hey, no.
Yeah.
Okay.
My greatest inspiration has been the story of my grandmother.
So before politics, you favor that disc.
Well, mostly is chiefs.
No, not even. Well, look, I think.
But no.
I think just your favorite teams.
Yeah, as long as it
We're just doing it just to belong, you know. So
Yeah.
because I will
Just for the fun
I
of
will
it.
say a team and then you will ask me names of players, then I will be stuck. So,
Yeah, but
so
let's talk about the. I won't be asking you names of players, seeing that you're saying that, you know.
Yeah.
So, but a team oyinganywayo, ni Pagapara, Chiefs,
Pirates.
Sundowns.
Oh, Ibani.
yeah.
Oh, Pagapara.
Yes.
Oh, hence the attire, representing.
I guess
Pirates.
I think Pirates was very much an issue of peer pressure when I was in the youth league.
Okay.
You know, so many comrades in the National Executive Committee of the Youth
It was
League
Fangi Papa.
went with Pirates, but also Ivan himself, you know, gave us love back as well.
Yeah, so love that.
So it was only fair.
Yeah, that you could.
So we knew that okay, Kaiser likes us as well, but we had to choose one.
Yeah.
You know, so that's how we ended up with the Pioneers.
So how to go Limpopo first time what like a mo Gauteng? Which was when was it?
Well, my late aunt stayed in Soshanguve just in the early 90s. She came here in 1990. So we started visiting here in around 1990. My other late aunt stayed in Randstown in Amaskara. So you'll notice that I lost effectively almost all of my family. Grandmother, granddads, aunts, everyone. I buried all of them. So we had to learn to grow and
By yourselves.
survive by ourselves. When people see us out there, even when we carried the story of the movement, they don't realize that when we leave and go into our own home states, we are just ordinary beings. We live with the pain that many others who have come from the same experiences live with.
So mangabe usuka like usuke nini Limpopo, obviously.
Well,
Siyasonke.
those ones, the other ones were really just about visits during school holidays and all of that. So, Utsamaya Limpopo completely gets a Maileka 97. I give it a metric.
Okay.
Then went to Technical Northern Gauteng,
Okay, Technical Northern Gauteng.
which is today called Tshwane University
Yes,
of Technology.
Okay, yeah. TUT. Hey.
So,
What TUT?
Yeah, so-
Why is what TUT?
so I studied there. So I studied in Soshanguve.
What were you studying?
I studied journalism.
Oh yes.
Okay.
Yes.
So I studied journalism, did national diploma in journalism, and then went back again to do my BTech. I just branched later on to do business leadership.
Yeah. The
Okay.
business was also involved there. Yeah.
So TUT, I was deputy president of the SRC there, and I was the chief editor of the campus newspaper TNT Update.
Okay.
So ran quite a number of media projects on campus. But our leadership role did not necessarily start there. In at high school, we led students in the SRC there. So, yeah.
So academically, what would you really remember much whilst you were in tertiary? These were my high points.
Well, look, just journalism, both as a genre and as a course, was quite interesting. You know, so strangely, what I loved in journalism was practice of journalism, which is what is mostly done by your print journalists. You know, I was not very much a broadcast person. You know, because I believed that, and that's what I always told my lectures there, that the script starts with print, and then it goes to voice,
Yes.
and then it gets visualized. So I understood it like that.
101, yeah.
Yes, that, okay, no, here, for anyone, for those who do television,
Yeah, dynamics
the-
of journalism.
yes, they have to actually visualize what I wrote. Those who do radio, audio, they have to actually make their own voiceovers out of the origin. So I always saw practice of journalism as the origin of the story. So that's what I would say in the academic space. I would remember that, and it was to later on inform how I related with media outlets, because in my early career I worked for the Mail and Guardian.
Oh, you did.
Yes, I worked for the Mail and Guardian, and I also did
As a writer.
yes.
Okay.
So I worked for a Mail as a trainee journalist, and then I also did stuff for SABC. There used to be a show for SABC called Get Real.
I remember.
So I was a researcher there. I also did. So we'll also just sometimes assist with Take 5 as well. But we're just young
Yeah.
researchers, and then I moved to the public sector as a communicator, and later on moved to became a youth commissioner. Mbazima appointed me a youth commissioner in the province.
Okay.
First presiding over the process to legislate the Gauteng Youth Commission, because Gauteng was the last province to have an act on the Youth Commission. So first it was Gauteng Commission on Youth Development, whose task was to really come up with the act that guides that. So when we concluded that work, we had produced the Gauteng Youth Commission Act.
Okay.
So I was reappointed again. Lebogang Maile was the chairperson of the Youth Commission.
Yes.
I served in that structure with a few others. It was such an experience.
So Julius Malema was once your boss, in a way.
No, I was going to come to that. I thought I was just giving. So Comrade Julius was never my boss. Myself and him were elected together at the 23rd National Conference of the ANC League in Mangaung.
Yeah.
We were both elected to serve as national officials. He became president of the Youth League, and I was elected as Treasurer General. Very important project we undertook was that because it was only the 5 of us who were elected, we had to steer the ship and ensure that the Youth League convenes ultimately a proper conference to elect the to complete what I would call the balance of the leadership that was not elected at the time with us. So we led that process. And I must say that during our tenure as president of the Youth League, he always displayed greater courage. And it was that courage coming out of his leadership, working together with the collective, that allowed us to have presided over one of the most revered youth leagues in the country. I still believe that the youth league that we led remains unmatched. So we very much resembled and resonated the youth league of the 40s. So we don't need anyone to tell us that. We know we did it. The
Self-proclaimed.
We have not, the history pages are not blank. They still tell the story of our stoical discipline with such aplomb. It displays the role that we played as young activists. So if there are others, doubting Thomases out there, who still believe that we'll be shy to talk about what we did in the Youth League, then they must just go and read. Familiarize themselves with the reality that is being told and portrayed by history.
So back go to UT, where was your headspace politically?
What do you mean when you say my headspace?
In terms of, obviously during those days, we know the story of most blacks struggling. Were you, in terms of movements, parties,
Okay. At first at TNG, going to lead the SRC as deputy president, we had done something out of character. We did not have a branch of the ANC Youth League on campus. There was a branch of SASCO. At that time, SASCO was not so much comfortable with the notion of introducing what Peter Mokaba had described as the ANC Youth League entrenching its position in camp and tertiary institutions. So it was a very uncomfortable topic in the 90s. We had formed something called Forum for Student Journalists. We knew that we had to contest SRC elections. SASCO was not budging on the idea of the Youth League. We approached the Pan-Africanist student movement of Azania, PASMA. We did a coalition with them. So you see the notion of coalitions.
This is a long time ago.
Yes, it's not something that is studied now with City of Johannesburg. And
I
then
want to talk about that, but later on.
So we went, contested, and won and led. But if I give the headspace context, I would say the headspace has always been around dealing with academic and financial exclusion. Okay. You know, the real struggles of students, making sure that those I mean, we still have TEFSA, what you call NSFAS today, but TEFSA, making sure that those who came from impoverished backgrounds are still allowed to register and all of that. So that's the trajectory we really led on campus. That's what we represented.
Maybe going back to you working with Julius Malema, because I know they would want to know more actually, as Julius Malema at the figure, you know, how is it like to working with him? What kind of a person is Julius Malema, according to you?
No, he's okay. Doesn't have issues. He's a comrade. He loves the revolution.
Okay.
Quite conscious, in my view.
Because some would think maybe he's a very difficult person.
No, and actually he's quite humane.
He is.
He's very humane. He's a humane, easy individual. You know. Of course, he has got a strong character. You know, at least he stands for truth most of the time. You know, if he believes in something, he goes for it. You know, he has got that kind of. He has got courage. He has got charisma. You know, and he's got discipline. You know, he is able to stand and remain loyal to his own ideals.
Okay.
So, and I think that is what every revolutionary must do. You know, you have got to, we've got to be conscious revolutionaries. We've got to be loyal, steadfast. We have got to maintain a position. We don't have to be guided by material conditions, thinking that if I digress or if I change my view on this, then tomorrow I will get blue lights. You know, I think that the danger I sometimes see is that, I don't know, maybe our people are no longer attending funerals, but if they do, they will have noticed that there is no funeral that gets to take place where we're going to bury money. So we mustn't overthink material things to a point of being willing to even sell our own conscience because we want to win favor. At the end of the day, it is the people of this country who decide every 5 years successively on which government they want. You know, it's not us in political parties. You know, that we receive a majority to govern, maybe as the African National Congress, could also be linked to the story of our revolution and the fact that we participated and led the liberation of the people of this country. So that could, you know, but we have to always be conscious revolutionaries. I think the Youth League that ourselves, Malema and the rest of the collective led, was one that put in that kind of a moral guide, moral consciousness to those that we led.
Because I was about to ask that, you know, just in comparison with the Youth League now and the Youth League before, you know, during those times, Yabo Malema, Yo Peter Mukaba, Yo Uban Ndoda Nkauza.
Ndoda Nkauza.
Yatholakala ivela inkauza yayo. Ubani konje I'll remember. Gigaba. Yeah, out here Sikaboma. You know, during, like, in comparison, you know, because obviously interview it when out here made ihambe in such a way ukuthi asizikhohle ezinye izinto yabona ngoba phela sayibukela media and I was with ANC makuveli inkauzo zamanye amadoda uzibuza ukuthi hawu sikabophe ngaka yadubula le nto ayidlali mos. So okay, must compare ANC then and now, ANC Youth League. Well, because there was a time whereby they were saying ANC Youth League why kumele ibe khona right now iyafana ne-MK.
Yeah, like you whole, I mean, the youth league was very visible. Now, we knew ANC youth league, yalona, Comrade Malema. But now we asked to buy President Manje ANC youth league.
Some lady.
Yes, so some lady.
Yes. In fact, there's a committee, something. I think there's not necessarily a leader.
No, let me assist you, comrades.
Yeah. I'll just assist.
One, we have to draw inspiration from the words of Frank Fanon, that every generation must define its own mission.
Okay.
So it is not our job, it is not my job as the former leader of the ANC Youth League to pass judgment on the ones that are leading the Youth League today. It would be totally unfair, morally wrong, incorrect in terms of pursuance of the revolution. Those that lead the Youth League see themselves to be on the right path. It is not for us, because we let the Youth League to suddenly pass judgment on them. That you are not seeing them a lot could mean that could also be meaning that you are not covering their events. I mean, you media people decide.
No, fair enough.
Media decides what they cover. If I invite you to a rally and you don't come, and people suddenly think that I don't exist because they don't see me on television. The Youth League, if you ask anyone who's in the structures of the Youth League and you put your ear closely to listen to them, you'll actually discover that these people believe that they are by So now it is the portent of the media to elect or choose which stories they cover, which makes the public believe whether something exists or doesn't exist. You see, if people meet me on the streets, I don't know, hey Pule, arsa ubon, mara mutoli be jor nampona too much TV. Nampona because I was going into their homes through television. Now, hey chief, hey, what's this fellow forgot that I'm no longer the mouthpiece of the ANC. So why he saw me a lot. He saw me a lot. When you see someone almost every day on television, you tend to think that Sakina when you are born life, because every day born life. No matter what money TV. So the story goes exactly like that. So the Youth League's story is because because you don't cover them. So exist. These young ones, they believe they exist. If you talk to them, the courage, the arrogance, you can see they believe the right way.
But one will say, differ with you on that.
In the Youth League,
because you don't even have to cover or to think of covering anything about you guys. You were there
because of, you see, we would have displayed our own arrogance, our own agility, our own pushback. We made sound bites that I tend to listen to some of the interviews I did when I was the spokesperson of the ANC, a role I just concluded now in January. And I realized that shame. There were some great, actually, what made me to go back there was one mainstream publication, the Sunday Times. On my farewell, they brought me a front page of the Sunday Times with all my quotes. So I realized that, oh shit, we actually made a lot of sound bites.
Thanks.
So that's what maybe something that I wouldn't say I did it well, but I think one of the things that our comrades sometimes struggle to understand is that, something called an angle in the media. You have to say, of these things that I'm saying, which one is going to make news? Which one is going to remain out there? But if you go there and just become generic and hope that I would now repeat tomorrow,
because bese sengizitshela nje ngiyi-one ukuthi i-ANC mayimitile angikholwa nokuthi they consider what the ANC League say, or they,
No, look, I mean, the fact that structures of the ANC at the 55th National Conference went and elected the convener and coordinator of the Youth League in the NEC means that structures of the ANC are aware that they are alive. The fact that today the convener of the ANC Youth League NYTT serves in the NWC of the ANC means that people are aware that they exist. You see. So I wouldn't want to sit with yourselves and believe in our own propaganda. No.
Okay.
So I don't want to do that.
Okay.
You know.
So talking about, when you're talking about the structures, the ANC, let's talk about the MK, or maybe divert Nyana and talk about the elders,
Yes.
Abomsimang, what is the role, MK or former leaders, the ANC, within the actual structures right as are now? Because I see a lot of clashes going on, you'll find Uguti ANC is taking this direction, and then you'll find, let's just take it back. Let me just paint a picture with Ace Mahashule. During the times, kune question ukuthi kumele ukuthi step aside based on policy ANC. There was this really notion yokuthi ama elderly or people who were in leaders previously, they were like, why is it difficult for the ANC to just remove those who are corrupt or pursue to be corrupt in the party?
Well, maybe because you asked a lot of questions in one question. Let me start with the role of the elders and MK, MVA. I think now they've changed.
You don't even know.
It's MK. No, I know what they have been called.
Okay.
It will be irresponsible of me not to know when I would have written statements about their own conferences, and I came and spoke to yourselves about those.
Okay.
So if I forgot something, it doesn't mean I don't know it.
Okay.
So it could be that maybe I was not following the text throughout. So actually they are calling themselves MK Military War Veterans.
Okay.
So now that association, it's important because it brings on board former commanders and commissars of Mkondo Wesizwe, who stood in the front line of liberating our people, who fought at the Battle of Kwetukwanivale and many others. In foreign soil, fought and defeated the SADF, South African Defence Force, at the time, who ultimately ensured that the people of this country are free and could stand for the first time on the accused in 1994 to go and exercise their democratic right to
Very
vote
important structure,
for a party of their choice. So they are an important part of the archival material of the African National Congress. They constitute an important part of our history. So we can't discard their role. That sometimes cadres in the ANC Veterans League and those that are part of the military war veterans would express different views out in the public. It's not differences in the literal sense. It's a display of the dynamism of the African National Congress. We're a very dynamic organization. If we ever sat in a meeting and all of us just went into a meeting to only agree, there will not be a need to have national executive committees. We deal on too.
Okay.
That's why Greg Muruti have because we told you about one.
Looking to all is well.
So why China? Greg Libyan starting time, the finishing time. Toma opela let's do another program that's what no opela.
Yes.
And then repeat it.
Yeah.
So it doesn't work like that. So we We start the meeting at 9 o'clock and hope that we will be done by 5 o'clock. Hope.
Yeah.
But we're going there to debate. So consensus in organization is a product of debate and thorough engagements on issues. Consensus emerge out of all of those things. We don't just rise with consensus. By the time we arrive at consensus, we have persuaded one another, we have convinced each other that the path that the organization must take is this one. That is why in the build-up to our conferences, we've got National General Council, National Policy Conference, then National Conference. Because we have to forge consensus. Consensus must be a product of persuasion, must also be a product of rationale. Because imagine if 100 people, if 100 people agree that you must bring back the death penalty in a meeting, and the meeting is only attended by 110. 10 people disagree. Their consensus, the consensus of the 10 is consistent with the spirit and letter of the Constitution.
Okay.
The 100 are expressing sentiments which go outside the Constitution. Now, we come out of the meeting of the ANC, then we issue a statement that brings back death penalty. South Africans will think we're crazy because it is not there in the Constitution. So how dare can a self-respecting party go and take a decision on something that is not even there in the Constitution and hope that it will end the trust of the people? You see, you win elections on the basis of public confidence, public perception that suggests that you are doing things right. But if public perception suggests that you are a corrupt party, you are not acting against malfeasance and wrongdoing, people are going to do two things. They will stay away from the polls, or they will go to the polls and just punish you. So in 2021, for instance, how did the ANC lose some of the big metros in 2021? It is not because people went to the polls and punished the ANC. People stayed at home to punish the ANC.
Yes.
They just did not go to the polls.
So more people didn't vote.
People didn't vote. More than 4 million of the people who voted for the ANC in the previous elections did not come out. It's as simple as that. So the ANC had introduced the policy on step aside.
Yeah.
To deal with cadres who are implicated in wrongdoing, appearing before a court of law, will be asked to step aside while their cases are still being heard. He took that decision. And all of you have lived to see that kind of a decision being implemented in action. Comrades have been asked to step aside. Cadres have come out to pronounce themselves that I will be stepping aside because of 1, 2, 3, 4. They have shown regard to the step aside policy of the African National Congress by their own action. Their own voluntary actions to step aside, their own ability to affirm and assert positions of the ANC. So I'm just saying, I think I've dealt with all the questions you asked.
Pules, don't you think sometimes the ANC contradicts the very policy? Because you find, let me just go back to a situation where you also re-elect Guma conferences, the very people who are actually being asked to step aside. I know you will say there's no problem for electing a person, but
no, look,
some person will find it difficult to understand why Ukumete, why Abo Zweli, and then re-elect, whilst these people are also being fined,
No, but Comrade
implicated.
Zweli has never been asked to step aside. Comrade Zweli is not charged.
Okay, let's focus on
It's not criminally charged. She has been asked to step aside, and she has stepped aside. Remember that at the time of at the time of her election at the last regional conference, that week we were finalizing the step-aside policy. So we had not necessarily firmed up a position of the ANC. So she was elected during that window period.
Okay.
But after that,
the step aside was not finalized.
we were firming it up.
Okay.
So immediately the guidelines were adopted by the NEC. We then wrote back to her to then ask her to do what is required by policy.
So what it means, maybe for just a layman who's out there, what the step aside policy means exactly.
The step-aside policy...
So I'll say it into the ANC.
Well...
We are whole.
No. Let me explain.
Okay.
Step-aside does not mean expulsion.
Okay.
We are just saying, while your case is going on, just stand down. Okay. So that you're going to court, legal representations and all of that. Dealing with all that does not affect your focus in the organization.
Okay.
That's what it means. So a person who's on step aside is not expelled. So that's why, let me give you a simple example. Mandla Msidi had stepped aside.
Yes.
And then the court threw the case out. He went back to work. He's an MEC again.
Yes. And we can talk of the MEC, the former NEC, MEC for Health, Masuku.
Yes. Because he's not charged.
He's not charged.
You can't step aside when you're not criminally charged. It doesn't. Are we moving towards finishing?
No, we're not. We just started. In fact, we just started.
No. I'm not running away. I must just explain. I've got other commitments. Yes.
Okay, we'll just touch base.
Yeah.
We will just go back and forth. You know, because I wanted to find out, Uti, then there was the ANC conference in December.
Yes.
Does that conference for you mean it's the end of Ace Mahashur?
Not quite. I mean,
because he was very much hoping he will rise again using the very same conference and provinces to, guard against, making sure that things, go back to the glory days, Zak. So it didn't went that way.
Well, look, it's
according.
It's not my space
to even say that.
To make a determination that someone who's old enough to be my father has come to a cul-de-sac of their political careers. It's not my space. In the same way that I never knew that one day I will serve in the NEC of the ANC. Okay. So I just don't know how long I will serve as well. So once I come here and become a prophet,
So next year is obviously it's big. Probably the elections are next year. The close one is 94.
Yeah.
There's this lack of trust from South Africans, especially black South Africans, about the party. Like you said, 2021 people did not vote. What is the party doing to ensure that you spoke of those metros that you lost 2021? Next year you trust the abantu like before, after 94.
Well, there's a number of things that the organization is doing. Unfortunately, I don't speak for the ANC anymore. I'm sure that those that are responsible to steer the electioneering machinery, the organizing machinery, and speak for the ANC, when they talk to the media, they will be able to best outline and articulate their own position. I would shy away from performing that role. I've done it for 5 years, so I must allow those that are now charged with that responsibility to come and explain it. Yeah. I can talk about myself, the organization broadly, and all of that, but I can assure you that the sectoral engagement that the president of the ANC is having together with the SGO this weekend, the Johannesburg City Hall. It's part of the many interventions that are being undertaken to make sure that the ANC consolidates its position on the ground, regains public confidence, reassures the people of South Africa that it is still a party that they can trust. But the ANC will need to act with greater speed to win back that trust. We don't have the time. Remember, the other trust deficit is created by lack of jobs. When young people are without jobs, they lose faith in their government. They think that the statements being made by their government are just being made to pepper through the papers to try and reassure them. We have to reassure our people with science. We have to say, of the 12 million odd South Africans who are unemployed, majority being youth, young graduates who just finished, this is what we have done to integrate them into the economy. We have to be practical. For instance, we face the load shedding problem. I must say it looks like they are doing something right lately. I don't know I don't know if it was the other chap who was there, but since he left, I mean, it's strange, you know. It's strange.
Minister of Electricity.
No, but beyond that, but beyond it's strange that a white fellow comes out as he finishes his term, says a lot of mediocre, which he did not express while he was presiding over an institution. Days after he has left, we start to see light coming back. So now you ask yourself,
was a wrong turn,
ask yourself, was this not a deliberate sabotage? Because we also have got to understand that saboteurs are also at work to take the ANC out of power. You know, the will, you know, the undertaking to undermine the democratic project is on full steam. And that undertaking is being led by saboteurs, some of them using SOEs and some of them using the economy itself to just make sure that the democratic project fails and put that at the doorstep of the ANC so that that failure is associated with the party.
But Pule, talking about leadership ANC, what do you think really went wrong? Because looking what you just mentioned, the question of unemployment, the question of energy crisis in the country, you know, and the question of there's just a whole lot of corruption going on, especially within, you know, the leaders or people that we assume they're supposed to be our leaders. And then you find there's a lot of corruption going on. What do you think, according to you, not just for as a person who's been working with the ANC, but as a person in South Africa, what do you think the country has just gone wrong? Because as it is, I was just checking the international index. Apparently, the South Africa is toppest with around 32% of unemployment, you know, leading the world. It's a serious situation.
Well, of course, by the way, economies don't generate themselves. Economies have got to be generated. Economies are a result of activity, primarily trade. You know, so you can't have an economy that wants to rely squarely on national fiscals. No. You need to make sure that you grow your productive sectors. Agriculture, create new industries, allow for the growth of your own retail sector. And remember, for retail to grow, it requires people to buy products. And for people to buy products, they must participate in the economy. So now that's why you have to create a thriving productive sector. Either you do it in the commodity space, like I said already, in agriculture, you create new industries. When those things are done, they create another sector called retail. Because those that work in those different sectors now need to buy. They want to buy clothes, they want to buy food, they want to buy cars, they want to buy cell phones. You know? You have to do that, you know. But again, you have to make sure that you have got a sense of energy security. Because big industries, you can't run a mine through a solar farm. No, it needs a substation. You know, especially where you run smelters. Those things, they need proper energy. You know, so it's part of those things. When it comes to corruption, I think we have got to go deeper, cut it down to the chase, and define exactly what is this corruption that is being spoken about a lot.
No, never mind. It's not load shedding.
The corruption that gets to be spoken about a lot, it's very much administration. That okay, Pule gave Rich an instruction to give Zandile a tender,
And then Rich decided to take.
and then that tender ultimately went there. So now we call unfair procurement practices corruption. You know, if you want to go deeper into it, you'll actually find that the most corrupt in the bigger scheme of things are officials. The ones who issue the purchasing orders, the ones who draw up procurement plans. They've even consolidated themselves into cliques.
Yeah.
Because they realize that the power of the ANC is winding off in certain municipalities. So they go with their own cliques. I mean, if your friend is a procurement manager of X municipality, and then he brings in the administrator or clerk in the department, and another one who comes from stores, and they are your chomies. You are guaranteed a tender. You are guaranteed an order.
Yeah.
So you don't need a mayor there or an MEC. You are a group of tsotis.
Yeah.
No, but because you are not elected, so you do at that group place. You work in a very smart way. This one draws specifications of the tender. This one issues the tender. This one tenders. So later, the two crooks help you to fill the tender document.
Yeah.
You've got a tax clearance certificate.
And then you guarantee it. Yeah.
Your CSD, you fill the price. And then they adjudicate. After adjudicating, power order. It's a good work of 10-15 million. Game changer. Game changer. I mean, you find that the work you are doing only needs you to spend 3 million.
But it's good for you to actually say that, because obviously, whilst you were more into business, your company was implicated in a way.
Yes, but it never did anything wrong.
Okay, I read that.
Yes,
but
no,
it's,
I can assist you. That's why I'm saying it's officials. That's why I'm saying it's mostly officials, because they are not known. Because they are not known, their stories don't make it to the press. But if it's a company associated with Pule Mabe, it's easy for that company to be flagged. Ask yourself, why is it only companies associated with politicians that are being flagged?
Yeah.
Why are this? Are you saying these other companies that are not associated with anyone are doing it all right? You know. So now, when I took a decision to stop doing work with the public sector, it was mainly because of that. I said, okay, here we're going to be used as examples, and because those in authority are sometimes scared to go for the big fishes, they go for their own comrades.
But you're holding office.
To project them.
That's the thing.
Huh?
If obviously you're part of the office, you are bound to be scrutinized more.
No. Public scrutiny of corrupt activities or of those implicated must be done to everyone. You see, when we stand at the queue to vote for a government we prefer or a government of our own choice or choosing, we do so, all of us qualify or are entitled to one man, one vote. We stand in a queue and we vote once. So why should politicians be treated differently when they only vote once? Baba vote ya 7. Abara ga re wena o Ramaphosa o tlo vote 20. Ballot paper year 1. We are all allocated one ID number. So our right to life and our right to opportunities where they exist must be the same.
Okay.
When I denounced the notion of taking public office, I clearly said that I am going to be part of the streets of this country. Metaphorically meaning, I will be part of the mainstream economy. I will play my role there. Because I've got every right. I don't want someone who wants to give me work and say, no, give me a company, yeah, Mara, we're now scheduled, what is that? And then SIU will give you hawks. So no, I don't want that. So if I must do business, I must do it in my name and right. You see, the things that you think are implications, to me, they were experiences.
Okay.
See, they were learning curves. Oh, okay.
The good thing, though, you were cleared.
This is no. Even if I was not cleared, you see, if today you commit a crime unknown to you, and then you get arrested, and then get a conviction, when you come back, we must reintegrate you into a full society, and hope that you would have learned from your own mistakes. You know, there are many South Africans who want to look at people at the spectrum of their own errors. When I see you, I still see that primary school clap. This one, no, you because we are a resilient nation. We've got to learn to also live with others. I can't say, oh, because Julius has been asked to step aside from the ANC. I guess I will let but let's step aside. No.
He's still a human.
No, before the step aside principle, Ace is a human being. He's a comrade. He's an activist. There are roles he played in the organization that you can't take away.
Yes.
So I was clarifying what must be our proper understanding of corruption. That politicians are unjustly and unfairly accused of being corrupt, when the most corrupt are actually the officials.
Now, talking about the oldest leadership, your Blatant Zimande, there are quite a lot of a list of leaders who, like, let me just put an example, Nkosazana Zuma, during the cabinet reshuffling, the latest one, she is now the Minister of Youth. I'm Jalaganga.
No. I think we have to be fair to Mama Nkosazana. She is the Minister of Women, Youth, and People with Disabilities.
Okay.
The ANC had taken a decision to mainstream these sectors. So a body of government responsible for youth is the NYDA, the National Youth Development Agency.
Yes.
It reports to the minister. The minister then does oversight.
Okay.
Understand? So women, it's about mainstreaming, making sure that public policy in its entirety accommodate the plight of women. People with disability, we've got to be deliberate and intentional in making sure that public policy accommodates the needs of people with disabilities. Okay. Now, having a ministry that provides that kind of an oversight ensures that there is policy at the level of public policy and at the level of budgeting of government that this work is being undertaken. So there's nothing wrong to have Mama Nkosazana doing that. She does oversight. So the department is the Department of Women, Youth and People with Disabilities. I'm deliberate in clarifying it because I've actually realized, I met a group of youngsters sometimes in my, relaxed schedule now that I'm no longer hectic. And the first question they put forward to me was that, how do you have Nkosazana at her age being the Minister of Youth? Then I realized that no, government has not done enough work to communicate what that work means. And I said, maybe it's our duty in the NEC of the ANC to convey that kind of a directive to our government. That Zamangu clarify about this thing. Because if we're not reaching also someone who should be informed, or is that Ministry of Youth, or not Matati. Well, oil or ENCA or wherever. Who do ring it?
Okay, but now generalizing that, I get that. Now, to say the age restriction as in South Africa, which most on 60. I don't know. It differs with male, female. But now someone will say, ANC or leadership. I know abantu abayanga nti. Why is lokhu siphethwe abantu abadala? Kanti abakhona ukumove on bona bahlale badle imali yabo babe right, and then sithole a young person to your Ronald Lamulas to lead us, your young people.
I honestly don't believe that age should be the barometer of leadership. It doesn't mean that when you are young, you
shouldn't be given a chance.
It doesn't mean that when you are young, you are capable and will do the right things. We've seen young people do wrong things. We've seen young people, their hands being found in the cookie jar. We've seen young people let corruption field.
Okay.
So here we have to all unite on restoring public trust, retaining institutions of state to doing what they must do, rebuilding the economy, assuring our people that there will be jobs. That's what we need. We don't need home affairs. We don't need age. We need an economy that works. If the economy is going to be made to work by pensioners, so let it be. But do you
really think it would be nice for the leadership, for the ruling party to groom young people for the future?
Well, the fact that we are here talking to you, and the fact that we have been in the leadership of the ANC for just over a decade, and yet we are only 42, it means that the ANC is preparing us for battles ahead. I don't understand. You are asking a young person who is in the leadership of the ANC, who has been in that leadership for the past 10 years, that wouldn't it be better for the party to group?
But I'm not talking about you precisely.
No, but
when are you okay?
No, but it's not. No, but let me tell you, I can't be absent from myself. It would be wrong. I'm not dead. I'm not Jan van Riebeeck. So if you ask me questions about young leadership of the ANC, and I'm young and I want to speak as if I'm on the other side, it won't help. It won't help. We remember what I said earlier on, that we have to be conscious. We also have got to be loyal to our own undertaking. So the loyalty I pledge is to my own generation as well.
Okay. Because
I'm young and I'm in the leadership and I've served for over 10 years, it means the ANC is doing something right.
Okay.
It means structures of the ANC have got faith in young leaders.
So, not still on that portfolio, I would maybe, perhaps in future, to have men also.
Yeah, no, I mean,
because I'm You remember in the past you used to have take a girl child to work, and then you exclude boys, and we always talk about your imbalances. You
Yeah.
understand? I think it shouldn't be separated, women alone, and then men.
Just take a child
It must
to
be
work.
probably at the same level.
No, I think I fully agree with you. Along the way, we left the boy child. Along the way, we focused a lot on the girl child. Beside instances of gender-based violence, women and men in this country are equal, on an equal pedestal. And unfortunately, sometimes you have young women who undermine the real plight of gender-based violence and make up stories. We have heard of those kind of things. And the thoroughness through which police are acting, law enforcement agencies are acting, is reassuring even to men that it must be the real cases of women who are abused, who are being raped and all of that gets to be acted upon. So women in this country also have got to assist to make sure that the real plight of women who are living in roofs where they are abused, who are finding it hard to go by their lives because they've got emotional scars, those women have got to be protected. But that protection has got to happen working with men.
Exactly.
The scourge of gender-based violence. I mean, there are men who are being abused as well.
That's true.
There are men who are finding it hard in their own homes. But they're scared to talk about those things because they think if I say it, I won't be believed.
But say,
But what say our monna. When I'm not clapping for we hang njita. So to build an equal society requires us to respect one another.
Yeah, that's true.
So that we can at least know that we can construct a proper moral fiber that even the young ones, so most South Africans, when I talk to them, I tend to pick up that they've become hopeless. It's difficult. Crime in this country is growing. We often don't speak when we're victims of crime. I mean, just 2 weeks back, here on the N1 between Kruonval and Grasmere, I almost met my creator. We're driving back from. I was driving with my protector from Eastern Cape. We got a puncture. It was around 12 midnight, just 2 weeks back. So we saw there was a tow truck, that just passed us. So my guy flicked. The tow truck guy stopped on the side of the road with us. Around towards 12 midnight. It didn't take 20 minutes while we were waiting there and just trying to change the wheel. 3 guys with balaclavas armed came in. Took us out of took me, so I was the only one in the car.
yeah.
The tow guy had this, he was with his girlfriend. My guy was outside. He had his own licensed firearm there. Came in, took me out of the car. We're all made to lie down with on the grass, just on the side of the freeway. Said, mate, cars are passing by. Cars are passing by. Gave them everything, cell phones. Yes.
Also, now you're a victim, actually.
Yes, so that's what I'm saying to you. Crime knows no leadership. It's for the first time I speak about this. It's a real story. I mean, I said, and these guys at Balaclavas, and they said, no, but we know you. But the crime still continued. I mean,
Oh, we know you, but can you keep yourself home?
they even asked me for shoes. Can you bring in my shoes?
Yeah. In a place when
You know, and you know the guy, and you know the guy was saying, the guy who was robbing us kept on saying, one of the guys was saying, no, hayi thina asirape, asibulala abantu siyahaslisha nje, sifuna nje imali. Took everything.
So this shows how difficult it is in South Africa.
So if you thought that we are living in high horses, no, it's not true. I've experienced it. I felt it. Now sometimes I understand. When the trust deficit of our people in institutions of state seems to be winding off. You know, we are victims. You know, they steal from you. Uchawa police station.
Yeah.
Sounded right. You know.
So Pegikal is not doing enough.
Look, let me tell you, I don't think that I would say I blame the Minister of Police and all of that. Look, every country that faces social upheavals, where there is social instability, you must know, unless maybe it's the Muslim country or something, but those countries don't have bigger populations, where you have got social instability, the consequence of that is going to be crime. To solve crime, you don't need to increase police. You can increase police, it's all right, but to resolve crime, you have to make sure that the economy works.
Okay.
When the economy doesn't work, it's a recipe for all these wrong things. You know?
Yeah.
When the economy doesn't work, let me tell you, at every if we don't change the outlook of our economy, I can tell you now, at every second robot, you're going to find criminals standing.
So it goes back to what we were talking about in terms of the rate of unemployment.
Yes.
And the question of energy crisis.
Yes.
Because obviously if business yami ngisekasi ngithengisela amangqina ami ngiyawafrya and then electricity yalona mina nginayo imali backup just like those other businesses, So obviously it means I would have to shut down a restaurant yami. So uma ngishut down ngixosha usabelo intwana encane engisebenzelayo. Intwana encane ngithi yephi iyenza crime. So we need to solve that imbalances.
Yes. So it is
Angazi kanjani.
Yeah.
It's
Well, I think it's
we seem to not have solutions.
No, we do have solutions.
We don't have plans.
I don't think that is the issue. We do have plans. I think the issue is the pace through which we are implementing our plans. We need to move and act with speed. See, we don't have to discuss public policy or the creation of jobs forever. No. We have to say we want to create jobs and act with immediacy. If we don't act with speed, we create this kind of problems for ourselves.
It's amazing.
Yeah.
And then this one I'm going to ask you, I think you will need to take your water. Yeah. Now,
No, you can ask.
The state capture
Yeah.
and the outcome, the recommendations from the Zondo Commission. Now, according to you, you think the president is moving with speed in terms of, the word attacking doesn't sound right. It sounds, attacking. Like dealing with those people implicated to this state capture thing, because it seems like nothing is going on. A commissioner is a resolution good. This is so and so. Upule wenze upulu boshwani.
No, that's fine. No, it's not. I understand. Look, recommendations have been made. They've been submitted to the president. The president has already pronounced that an action plan is being undertaken. But let's give them the space for that action plan. We have already begun seeing individuals being charged because of cases that were had at the State Capture Commission. It's just that
Not at the pace there, abantu abayibhekile.
No, but there's a number of cases. So it's just that I don't know. I can't say it's case number one, but there's a lot of cases that are already being undertaken, coming out of the State Capture Commission.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right, just to wrap it up, Pules, I see you rushing, and there's still more to talk to you about. There's always more to talk to you about.
No, we will always come back.
So maybe just to wrap it up, leadership in South Africa, and also talking about the next coming elections in 2024. Is it amandla awethu or amanga awethu?
Well, the power still belongs to the people. The fact that it is still...
Because I feel like amanga awethu.
No.
Amanga!
No, the fact that the people are the ones that still determine who must constitute government, it means the power still belongs to the people. It is the people, through the power of their own vote, their cross, who determine who becomes government. The ANC will never impose itself over the people of South Africa.
Okay.
The ANC is the only party that will come out and apologize, own up to its mistakes, and self-correct. The introduction of policies such as Step Aside is an attempt to reassure the people of South Africa that we want to create an honest, credible party whose leaders could be trusted by the people. When the leaders of the ANC enjoy the trust of the masses of our people, it will be easy for the ANC to continue on the path of leadership. But if the leaders of the ANC are not trusted, it also means that there is no faith in the policies that the ANC pronounce on. Yeah. So the power still belongs to the people.
To the masses.
We must never... See, the ANC in 2014 again repeated what it said in 1955, that the people shall govern. But in 2014, we took it further. We said the people govern.
Okay.
We have created organs of people's power, civic formations. We have done so because we want the people, through their own expressions, to determine the kind of a government they want. We want the people to own up to the development they want to see happening. That's why in municipalities, you've got something called integrated development plans. Those consultation processes bring on board the people. It gives them the space and platform to make their own views heard and known. And it is the consolidation of all of those that allows the municipality to develop budgets. These budgets are guided by the consultation processes. We want a park. We want podcast studios built in community centers. We want art centers built. So then a determination is made that, okay, for us to be able to achieve all of these things, we will need to ask for a budget of 3 billion rand. So 2 billion rand is approved. Part of those things that you gave us as your action plans as a municipality begin to be implemented. Look at what the democratic government has done, something that has not been spoken about. The number of RDP houses were built. We've built more than 1 million RDP houses. Actually, more than 4 million RDP houses. So we've housed over 4 million households.
And there's still corruption there.
You know? But remember this. Remember this. Corruption. No,
number 20.
But let me tell you, we can't allow the story of corruption to overshadow the work we've done. You know, we can't go and tar our roads, and because there was corruption, always then we are then fixated into the contractor that was wrongly appointed. But the road is tarred. So who's going to talk about the story of the tarred road? You know, DA came to Johannesburg, presided over a city that did not have problems under the ANC. They didn't close the potholes. They went and presided over Tshwane. The people of Tshwane, for almost 10 years now, don't have water. Kemuga Rotodia, we're going to focus on the corruption story and not look at what government has done. It's a bit unfair. We must see. Let's expose the corrupt. Let's expose the corrupt, extinguish them from amongst ourselves, make sure that they face law enforcement agencies. At the same time, let's celebrate what we've done. If we've built a road, if we've built a school, you know, if we've increased robots, if we've increased the number of police we have, where we're introducing jobs, let's celebrate all those things. The story of South Africa can't be blank in its entirety. It's not possible. If the story of South Africa is blank in its entirety, why are we even having an interview here in Ilovo, which was previously a white-only suburb? Look at where we are now. Ilovo.
It's a rural Ilovo. It's a rural Ilovo.
Yes, but we're not in Soweto. We're not in Davidton. We're in Ilovo. Mara, we still want to believe that we're in 1993. No, it's not possible. The fact that we are doing interviews in Ilovo, not at Snobarana Theatre, means a lot.
So ANC next year, you think they'll get 50%?
Well, being a
That's
leader
debatable, isn't it?
being a leader of the ANC that contest power to govern and deliver to the people of South Africa, my honest wish will always be that this party that removed the shackles of apartheid from the hands of the people of South Africa, that built so many houses for our people, that because let me tell you, you know why you know that there is corruption? It's because there are opportunities. In 1993, no corruption because there were no opportunities. So, corruption is a consequence of opportunities in society. We're not saying it must continue, but the fact that we talk about it, it means there are opportunities. So the ANC has got to continue on this trajectory. Fight corruption, but distribute opportunities to well-meaning South Africans. If we do that, the people of South Africa will again allow us the space to govern them. So it's our duty. Our duty is to make sure that we win elections.
So 50% is possible.
Very much possible. We just have to
Because
do things.
I'm looking, from where I'm looking, or from where I'm sitting on, I think there'll just be a collusion. And
Look, we have
they're actually proving themselves.
look, we have to work hard. We have to work hard. We have to increase the pace. We have to make sure that we win the seat of government. That's our obsession. Everything we're doing now, it's about elections.
Yeah, because the government is not necessarily. I think mentality youth now lately, or Yabantu South Africa, you need to do things for yourself. You don't have to wait for the government, and that's just the way to go. Because if you wait for a government, apparently, let me just ask the last one, Sepo. I know we're wrapping up. Just that I know people are watching would say, but why didn't ask about Pala Pala? Pala Pala, what's your take, especially on the latest?
No, Rich, you have to release me now. This is detention.
No, Pala Pala. We're wrapping it up.
No, it's detention. The ANC can speak about that. I've spoken about the issues that really concern the party. So I think, I will leave that one to pass.
Okay.
Yes.
No,
it has got nothing to do with me.
No, that's fair.
Agree. Today you wanted to talk about me.
Yeah,
the things that have got to do with me.
Maybe that should be directed to a spokesperson.
Yes. Oh, yeah, not himself.
Not himself. Not himself.
Yeah,
all right.
Dayz on podcast
is wrapping up now.
Pule, thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Pule, for shyly around.
No, I'm fine. I'm okay.
Yeah. All right. We have a T-shirt for him.
Yeah.
Is it the one that is just here? Okay. So you remember Happy Days with this podcast T-shirt.
Okay.
At least more ungakwathi mawugqoka.
No, that's fine.
And
Ngoba phela bayaqonda manje.
No, that's fine. That's okay. No, thanks.
And Happy Days were back after a very uncomfortable Pule Mabe. But now we're moving forward. Pule Mabe sekahambile. Hello, Zaid.
Hello, Zaid.
But sorry, sis. Yeah, now we're getting to positive, happy, inspiring stories of the world.
The world.
Of the world. Positive. Abantu maybe khathela abantu abantu ababukela i-podcast sengikhathele yini sithe kuwa send itori abakasendi abakasendi itori. So please do guys send us your positive stories. There's something positive happening every day, you know, elifini. It might not happen to you elifini yakho, ingayenzeka emnganini wakho, ingayenzeka efamilini, ingayenzeka nje noma kuphi ublomile or nama gents or
as long as it's something positive.
lento encane eyenzakalayo is very important, you know. So my positive story, it's a very disturbing story, but it ended up right. In fact, le system yasebenza. Yabona ama surveillance cameras. Yeah, lento lokuthi ama camera position so ama camera yasebenza kahle kahle.
As a strategy.
Airport. No, airport.
Phumba use airport.
No. Kahle kahle ngitshela umuntu obeke lapho, you know. So the plane was flying to Dubai. Because I'm South African, I had time to get to Dubai.
Sure, yeah.
So it Dubai mthetho wakho strong bafethu.
Yeah.
Uthola nama drugs inbound yakhawathela. Angazi la South Africa. Ngisazoke ngidlule nje lapha ngiphethe izolo ngibona ukuzwenza ngizobacala ngezolo kuqala. Mangidlula kutwili. Okay, mangabe izolo ngizocala ngezolo. Bese ngizoza ngezinye lezi ezinzima. But what happened actually? This lady uqeda ukuyehla eplane. So someone uthathe ubone ukuthi ilona security tight mabayehla lapha wathatha le staff beke siphetho sifake ebhegini salochera kazi. So lo chura mangala mahata athi sorry sicela ukuthi uphumele ngapha so checka ngithi kunama room lawo checka abathi solakala phethe ama drugs sisters, you understand. But now the way lo sis lo akhale ngakhona azama uku-emphasize ukuthi kahle kahle ngidile ngama drugs ngoba lokhu bayambuza ngalelanga nje eDubai ukuthi wathathe ama drugs yabona angazi bayakhuluma isini ngala bakhuluma isArab ne ngimambuza ngesArab ama drugs wathatheva so uyazi ukuthi uzogwetshwa la kule khanda sidlala uma come to ama drugs uzobulala isizwe kusho ukuthi uzobulala abantwana bethu uzokhomba umuzo notshwala uzokhomba umuzo notshwala niyasazi yazona umuzo notshwala zawuzile lo muzo notshwala mina ngakwazi wayini yimi umuzo notshwala yabo manje mawuzeli uqava uzeli umuzo notshwala. Okay, grand ne. So sisters no elinye khata elikhulu liyaqhamuka lithi no before simthatha simisa epolice station lapha eDubai as check in ama cameras and then they check on ama cameras then they find out ukuthi khona umuntu ofake leso stuff ebhegini yakhe and then sisters I think it's positive because lo sisilobeke yele kulona umntana kuba yomvakashela apparently umntana kubo upreg so uyomsupporta so apparently cishe waboshwa.
So this whole thing yenzeke asaya eDubai
kusho ukuthi asaya aqeda ukuyehla eplane and then umuntu wabona ukuthi ngathi security tight wathatha wafaka le staff lesifast da so
bamoshele njengakayina ndawo
cishe bamoshele mana the good thing out of the story, the moral of the story, ubanjiwe the actual culprit.
Because of CCTV.
Ngithi kuyashesha CCTV cameras they can work.
They work.
And then
but also good people, like the fact ukuthi lo muntu omsizile ukuthi nje yezini asichecka nama cameras usikenzakalani
South Africa
bebengebayenze because kuba ukuthi nje sikuthole ngalokho
bebezothi ayisebenzi camera uqala South Africa yabona. Okay, South Africa we know. But akusho ukuthi South Africa nakhona kuna positive stories. There are positive stories. People they need to take us. In fact, they need to comment or just below.
They need to comment.
They need to comment about this particular story, and then they need to comment and send us their stories.
Definitely, Danko.
So unaso stories positive. When you positive mangibheka. Akufuneki le story.
Masikhuluma ngento ezipositive ne. Noma kungaba into encane njengoba besishilo because lengizokhuluma ngayo it's literally a YouTube prank.
Okay.
So it started with the YouTube prank. Mangibhekile like normally I watch YouTube pranks and into kanjalo. So njengoba ngibukile this prank it's a prank I'm going to act as if in Google chair and it's a blind date. Ngiyaku blind date but I'm in Google chair. Okay. So these people did le prank le so ba organize a date and then ba organize dates kanjalo let's say wena uzofika ku Dayz, okay, siya ku Dayz 2.
Yeah.
Ngizofika mina in a wheelchair, but I'm not gonna give you a description of
Ukuthi
ukuthi
njani, yeah, sure.
like paralyzed or anything. I'm not gonna tell you anything. Zobana so figure lapha. It's a blind date, right?
So uguy wheelchair uguy.
Okay, get a wheelchair, get a wheelchair,
Yeah.
and then uguy uyafika. The only thing that uguy ayaziyo ukuthi nje uphela uhlangana nomuntu mhlambe
Obengazi ukuthi unjani.
unjani akazi
Oh.
because it's a blind date,
Yeah,
right?
yeah.
So babahlangana labantu laba
Cha.
xa ugela ku-wheelchair ngu-wheelchair mina and then wena the fact ukuthi ngu-wheelchair you find ama-excuses sokuthi uphume kulo blind date yabo
Yeah, out
So-
slicer.
yeah out slicer yabo
Slicer too.
so
Shishukana
kanjalo
nokuthi,
kanjalo so few people bebalibele baza bayenza lo prank le nabo bayaslicer come this one guy fika uthola ugela ku-wheelchair and instead kunokuthi aslize he took his time to get to know lo ntombazane lo ukuthi kahle kahle umuntu onjani ngaphandle kokuthi
Watholi
uparalyze
mates.
you understand yeah and this girl now yasho ukuthi I've never been in a date for quite years kahle kahle ngaze ngadate because of i-condition yami and the fact ukuthi uhlangana nomuntu omthandile for who she is the act of kindness ukuthi you were kind enough to sit down and talk to me and find out ukuthi ngumuntu onjani ngubani despite my condition you understand
Yeah.
that's really that was touching
very,
for me
very warm
Yeah,
story.
yeah.
I must
So
say.
eventually
So badatile bahalalisa.
it was a prank but
wasukuma wambonisa.
yeah but eventually this girl umtshela ukuthi you know what mina ngiyawalka ngishapa I'm not paralyzed you understand but
Oh, it was a
it
prayer.
was a prank
Gosh, yeah.
but the fact ukuthi the guy was kind enough ukuthi abe okay with the fact ukuthi une condition ekanje angithi sikhuluma about positive stories that's
Yes,
positive
yes, yes.
Because angithi based on labaya abaslice.
yeah
So
exactly
no one has nice.
Never slice
Kanti kuzoba
it.
ne-surprise emnandi.
Exactly, yeah.
Uyabona, yeah.
So, mina, my question is to the people, ukuthi, are there people abanjalo in real life? Like, abakwazi ukuthi umuntu umthole with the condition, accept her for who they are.
Yeah.
Like, yeah.
you'll
If
be
bakhona,
surprised.
you'll be surprised.
Yeah,
I feel
you
like
will
there's
be
a lot,
surprised,
yeah.
yeah.
So, if bakhona, comment down below, let us know ukuthi mhlambe if uyahlangabezana nabantu abanjalo or not, because I believe bakhona vele. And there was this one YouTube thing engike ngayibheka, I don't know what's the name. Kodwa it's a gay person and a lesbian person bayathandana and then khona nenye futhi it's the same page kahle kahle and then enye this guy doesn't have a jawline. I think this story beyitrenda. This guy doesn't have a jawline and lentombazane loyo wamthanda nje wangakhona. So that's positive.
Yeah,
you
no,
understand?
siyabonga.
So because uthanda inhliziyo
Uthanda inhliziyo yomuntu,
uthanda
yeah, more than
yeah,
the
not the
appearance,
appearance.
yeah,
Yeah, let's promote that.
We should.
Yeah.
I know it's a wonderful story.
Yeah. Ngiyazi abantu bayithanda appearance yakho
Yeah,
la.
yazida.
Yeah, zayida.
I mean,
Yeah.
Sokari.
Awuzwa nestory besingadizister manje. Awungicela ubaleka nestory la.
Akabuye
Story sakho si.
Mina bafethu story sami ne.
Yeah.
Si very inspiring because
Oh,
you know
okay.
thina complain especially ngabantu abasebenza ku Pick and Pay,
Yeah.
abasebenza kanjani
Yeah.
kanjani especially thina
Yeah.
kwabantu abamnyama you understand.
Yeah.
But mina ngifuna ukukhuluma nge-staff sase Pick and Pay Craig Hall yazi man la
Abathi plastic.
Mfethu yabona i-staff sase Pick and Pay Craig Hall big
Yeah.
ups guys
Big ups to them.
bonke from lamajitas yabona lamajitas
Kwenzakaleni ukuze uzobanqobe kangaka? Okay, before banqoma kangaka,
Yeah.
cela ukwazi kwenzakala.
no mawungena nje from the minute you walk into the store uyabona
A Craig Hall.
Craig Hall Pick and Pay Craig
Yeah.
Hall. Mawungena laphayana right can I assist you uyabona bonke from ethilini
The service.
to yonke the
Yeah.
whole so big ups guys ngathi every
Ngoba vele bacabanga ukuthi abantu abasebenza ku retail bahlala ba
but
stress.
laba mfethu
Yeah.
ngathi ngaya mina manje
Alalisi.
ukubona ukuthi the job they are doing so I want to say to them keep up the good job siyabona
Namhlanje ngongena ngismilile vele
yeah,
sengidile vele.
noma ubani
Kahle kahle,
I'm
yeah.
challenging everyone to go now to Pick and Pay Craig Hall bathole treatment
Yeah.
Sengizofuna ukuzithola sengilapho njalo.
baphume
Yeah.
Abafana nalaba baselo nene base chicken dikin. Okay. Kanti konje sikhuluma ngama positive story.
Yeah,
Ngoba ku negative kabi lo
Yeah.
bakonje. Ngicela nje into esimple abangizange
hey
bangisize.
chicken licken which one they
I-chicken dikin eyasekazi. Hayi awukhethi ngingasho.
Yeah,
No,
I
yisho,
think
but-
that's
Mari
what
yasekazi.
I
Yeah,
feel
ayiseko
now.
positive
Yeah.
phela. Ngifuna into epositive la.
Yes,
Yeah,
Ngiyese
definitely.
ngeke ngikhuluma nje.
Yeah.
Abantu mabasebenza ku retail sicela bayiphathe kahle. Baphathane kahle. Babe
Kodwa it's
right.
good
Bazothola
ukuthi khona abantu
ama-tips.
abanjalo. Yeah.
Hawu tips uthola kanjani uthola ngokuthi uhalalisa mina out mangireverse ikari ziza zonke ke kimi siyazi ukuthi ayina le out
So
grant
halali.
Oh, la majita.
Le out is
yeah angithi out as a
Futhi nala
grant
majita asizayo during load shedding laba abaconductayo mfethu la majita.
hos
Yeah,
go ngithe
No,
ho
ngisho laba basemarobotini. Laba basemarobotini abona mawuhamba. Load shedding amarobot aspani. Basiza.
Oh, yeah. Yeah, sibe nama South
That's a good
African
one.
sibe
Yeah,
Bathi
exactly.
grand of 10 rand.
Cabanga ukuthi lo
Okay,
muntu
guys,
kumela ngeni
these
for
are the
whole day.
positive, inspiring stories
For
of
today.
the world.
Yes.
Yeah. Ngicela ukuthi nisendeni iitori zenu,
Yeah.
please
Comment.
bakwethu.
Comment
Kwi
down
comment
below, send your
box.
stories. Just let us know.
Usenda nje story, uyazisho
Yeah.
ukuthi ubani sizosho the stories
Yeah.
kuma kubani.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. Chera semletsane esend isithombe istory sayo, sizosho ukuthi chera semletsane.
Nasezola.
Yeah, ungasabi.
Nasepitori.
Or really Malawi.
Yeah.
Phela i-podcast
But
Now
again,
using that,
ufuna
yes,
ukubuza
yes,
is there mhlambe an email kunokuthi abantu basende like comment kuphela down.
We
Is
have
there
an
mhlambe
email.
bangabhala
We
isitori
do have
sabo
an
kuzo,
email actually,
and then,
you know.
Yeah.
What is it?
Write it down or rather
Or
send a
Oh, you'll actually write it down below,
Yeah,
but it
write
had
it
to
down.
do with the Ilona. Yeah, he producer, yes, discourage. Yes, discourage.
Yeah.
Cold War, yes, has to do with Cold War.
Cold War.
Okay, cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ngendlela right.
Ngendlela
Right.
top.
Alright.
Zayda signing out Zayda.
Eswakarota. Zayda. And
Ngendlela right.
this is
Yeah, it's Rich Twala and Sebo Toban.
Hey, Tara.
Subscribe and become a member of the biggest family, the Happy Days on Podcast family.